This is a simple guide to all the big fasting methods. Every method does something different in your body. Some help you feel calm, some help with belly fat, some fit your day better. Once you see how they work, you can choose the one that fits you best. 12-12. This is the simplest fasting schedule. Fast 12 hours, eat for 12 hours. Most people finish dinner, go to sleep, and eat breakfast at a normal time. It's the easiest place to start if eating feels random or too frequent. 12 hours isn't long enough for strong fat burn, but it does calm insulin spikes and stop the habit of grabbing food every time you walk past the fridge. It also helps your stomach reset after years of just a bite moments that never end. The good part is how gentle it feels. There's structure but no pressure. The hard part is patience. Progress is slow, but it fixes the base issue, eating all the time. 12-12 builds the foundation. And once that feels normal, the next method changes how your body handles cravings. 14-10. You fast 14 hours and eat inside a 10-hour window. Most people delay breakfast a little longer. It's a small change, but it's often the first time hunger starts feeling predictable again. Around the 13 to 14 hour mark, insulin dips lower and your body begins pulling from stored energy instead of demanding snacks. 14-10 works great for people with night cravings or stress eating habits. What works well is the steadier appetite. You don't feel pulled to the fridge every hour. What gets tricky is patience. Fat loss builds quietly, and people assume it's not enough when it's actually laying the groundwork. 14-10 gives your body its first real break, and if you want a method that builds faster momentum without feeling extreme, you're ready for a fasting window that moves things a little faster. 16-8. You fast 16 hours and eat in an 8-hour window. Many people skip breakfast or shift it later. This method is popular because it finally feels like progress without feeling like punishment. Around 16 hours, glycogen drops more, so your body uses stored fat more consistently instead of waiting for the next snack. Hunger waves smooth out, and you stop thinking about food every hour. Here's what people like: clean appetite, fewer cravings, and a daily rhythm that fits normal life. Here's what people struggle with: sugary morning coffee. If insulin stays high, the fast feels awful, and the method gets blamed instead of the coffee. Fix that, and 16-8 becomes a stable routine. 16-8 creates real momentum, and the next method takes that steady burn and pushes it a step further. 18-6. You fast 18 hours and eat inside a 6-hour window. Most people eat a solid lunch and dinner, or a main meal plus a real snack. This method works well for people who want faster waist changes and clearer hunger signals. Around the 18-hour mark, insulin stays low longer, glycogen drops further, and fat burn becomes steady instead of occasional. It's like your body finally gets enough quiet time to focus on one job. Strengths: stronger fat burn, calmer appetite, and more stable afternoon energy. Trade-offs: the window can feel small if meals are rushed or too tiny. Big, complete meals make the method work. 18-6 feels like the real shift point for many people. And if you want to see how far simplicity can go, the next method surprises a lot of fasters. 24. You fast 20 hours and eat inside a 4-hour window. It's not as intense as OMAD, but it still feels tight enough to simplify your whole day. Most people eat one big meal and one lighter meal, or a main plate with a snack that actually belongs next to it. 24 works well for people who want faster changes or prefer bigger portions instead of constant nibbling. What works well is the clean hunger. With a shorter eating window, your appetite stops bouncing all over the place. The fridge stops feeling like a friend you visit too often. What gets tricky is meal planning. Small meals don't cut it here. You need food that actually supports you. 24 makes your day simple and your hunger predictable. And the next method pushes that simplicity even further by shrinking the eating window down to just one meal. OMAD, 1 meal a day. You eat one big, satisfying meal inside roughly 1 hour. The rest of the day is a long, quiet fast. OMAD works best for people who like big meals, don't want constant decisions, or want a method that cuts out mindless eating completely. With such a long fasting window, insulin drops for hours, and your body relies more on stored energy. Hunger gets calmer, and a lot of people notice the food noise in their brain finally turned down. Here's what people like: total simplicity. One plate, One moment, done. Here's what people struggle with: social life and portion size. OMAD doesn't work well if your one meal looks like it came from a kid's menu. OMAD feels powerful, but fasting isn't only about shrinking time. It can also shrink days. The next method changes the rhythm of the whole week. 5-2. You eat normally 5 days per week and choose 2 low-calorie days, usually around 500 to 600 calories. Most people split them apart, like Monday and Thursday. 5-2 is great for people who prefer a weekly plan instead of a daily fasting window. It fits family meals, work events, and weekends without stress. The low-calorie days lower insulin and help reset appetite across the week. The good part is how flexible it feels. You get light days that give your body a break and 5 days that still feel normal. The hard part is undereating too much. If you push those low days too far, energy tanks and motivation disappears. 5-2 changes the rhythm of the week, but if you want a schedule that hits faster results with a simple on-off pattern, the next method is built exactly for that. Alternate day fasting. ADF means rotating between a regular eating day and a low-calorie day. Some people take the fast day all the way to 0 calories, but most include a small meal. The alternating pattern gives your body long breaks from insulin while still letting you eat normally every other day. It's strong for fat loss and great for breaking plateaus. Strengths: steady results, a clear routine, and surprisingly predictable hunger once your body adjusts. Fast days feel less dramatic when they show up on a fixed schedule. Trade-offs: social timing. When a fast day lands on a birthday dinner or a night out, it feels like the universe picked that day on purpose. Fast days also need planning. ADF is structured and powerful, but the next method takes a different angle. Not alternating days, just one long stretch that changes everything. 36 hours. This fast goes from dinner on day 1 to breakfast on day 3. It's one full day without food, but it feels more manageable because you sleep through a big chunk of it. 36 hours is great for people who feel stuck on shorter fasting windows. By this point, glycogen fully drains, insulin stays low, and your body leans heavily on stored fat. Hunger usually peaks in the evening of the no-food day, then drops. Here's what people like: the clear reset feeling. Your mind feels sharper, and the next day usually brings a calm, steady energy. Here's what people struggle with: the evening of the fasting day. That's when your stomach starts waving a tiny protest sign at you. 36 hours creates a noticeable shift, and if you want to see what happens when you stretch that shift further, the next method brings you into a full 2-day fast. 48 hours. This fast lasts 2 full days, and it feels different from a 36-hour fast because day 2 is where your body finally stops negotiating. Glycogen stays low, insulin stays quiet, and energy starts coming almost entirely from stored fat. This method is best for experienced fasters looking for a stronger metabolic reset or a break from long-term eating patterns. What works well is the mental clarity. Many people feel unusually focused on day 2. When insulin is low for that long, hunger stops shouting and becomes more like a distant reminder. What gets tricky is boredom hunger. You're not actually hungry, you're just tired of not chewing. 48 hours shows you what a real extended fast feels like. But if you want to experience the version where hunger truly gets quiet, the next method takes it one full step deeper. 72 hours. 3 full days. This method is for people with fasting experience, a calm routine, and a steady mindset. By day 3, your body is running heavily on stored fat. Appetite hormones shift, and hunger signals often drop. Many people describe the 3rd day as strangely calm, like your stomach finally stops sending dramatic messages and your brain switches to low noise mode. Here's what people like: strong appetite control afterward. Many people notice less food noise for days or even weeks. Here's what people struggle with: the mental side. Physically, it's often easier than expected. Mentally, time moves slower when there's no meal to look forward to. 72 hours creates a strong reset, but some people want a version with even longer quiet time. not by going past 3 days, but by planning a full extended fast. 3 to 5 days. These are planned extended fasts used for deeper resets or stepping away from long-term eating patterns. Because of the length, hydration, electrolytes, and rest matter a lot. Hunger usually drops after day 2. By day 3, the body settles into a steady, predictable energy rhythm. Many people describe it as strangely calm, like someone turned down the background noise in their head. Strengths: strong mental clarity, cleaner appetite afterward, and a long break from constant eating. A lot of people return with a quieter relationship to food. Trade-offs: planning is non-negotiable. A 5-day fast doesn't fit into a chaotic week, and boredom hunger becomes very real. Sometimes it feels like the fridge is staring back. Extended fasts change how you understand hunger, and the next method shifts the idea again, not by length, but by removing water. Dry fasting. This means no food and no water. There are 2 versions: soft dry fasting, where you still shower and brush your teeth, and hard dry fasting, where you avoid all contact with water. People usually do short windows, 12 to 24 hours, because it feels much more intense than water fasting. Without water coming in, your body becomes very strict about energy use. Hunger often fades faster, but thirst becomes the main signal. Here's what people like. The fast feels shorter because hunger drops quickly. Here's what people struggle with: the dryness. Your mouth feels like it's trying to warn you in all caps, and your stomach sometimes acts like it's waving a "feed me liquid" sign. Dry fasting is a specific tool, not a regular schedule. And now that the full range of fasting windows makes sense, the next method explains how to keep any window clean and effective. Clean versus dirty fasting. Clean fasting means sticking to things that don't trigger insulin or hunger: water, black coffee, plain tea, and electrolytes with no sugar. Dirty fasting allows small calories, flavored drinks, cream in coffee, or anything tiny that tastes sweet. People choose dirty fasting because it feels easier, but it often keeps insulin just high enough to block fat burn or trigger surprise hunger. Here's what people like about clean fasting: smoother hunger and a shorter feeling fast. Progress shows up sooner. Here's what people struggle with: the coffee upgrade. Removing cream or sweetener feels like betrayal at first. The good part about dirty fasting is mental comfort. Your morning drink stays the same. The hard part is that it slows everything down, sometimes more than people expect. Now you're ready to choose the method that fits your actual life, not someone else's routine. Now let's match the right fasting method to the right person. Fasting works best when the schedule fits your life, your hunger pattern, and your stress level, not when you force the hardest version first. If you get hungry the moment you wake up, start with 12-12 or 14-10. These help rebuild real hunger signals without making your day feel like a challenge. If belly fat is the main goal, 16-8 or 18-6 usually hits the sweet spot. You get steady fat burn with a routine that feels normal. If you like big meals, 24 or OMAD makes more sense. You won't spend the whole day thinking about food, and your stomach can stop sending dramatic alerts. If weekly structure works better than daily windows, 5-2 or ADF fits that pattern. It's flexible with strong results. If you feel stuck or want a deeper reset, the longer fasts, 36, 48, or 72 hours, create big internal shifts, but they need calm routines and planning. And no matter which method you pick, clean fasting smooths out hunger more than people expect. Once you know how these methods work inside your body, choosing the right one becomes much easier. You've now got the full map of fasting, from the easy windows to the deep resets. If this finally made things click, don't stop here. The next video goes even deeper and answers the question your brain is probably shouting right now. Tap it before your stomach decides it's time for a meeting.